Hello everyone, I want to do a project share today using these Artex acrylic gouache paints. Absolutely beautiful sets. We've got this colour here, absolutely gorgeous. How gorgeous are those? And this set here, which some of you may recognise. I've also got a mixed media pad as well that I want to try out, so we'll open that very shortly. Now, some of you may remember this set here. I used it to create my sunflower for the Let's Get Arty prompt in the Facebook group a few weeks ago. Absolutely loved using these paints. You know, nothing wrong with the paints themselves, but I did have a bit of an issue when I opened them. When I opened my paints, I found that a lot of the gouache had settled all around the rim of these pots and in the lid. I found some of the lids really difficult to get open, and I ended up decanting these into an ice cube tray with a lid, then soaking the pots and the lids in hot soapy water, and then popping the gouache back in once they were all cleaned up, and these have been absolutely fine ever since. I did actually go back to Artex as well and explained the problem that I've had, and they have looked into it and made some adjustments, and they recently asked if they could send me the new colours and see how I felt about those. Now, when I opened these, most of the pots are absolutely fine, perfectly clean. Look at that. I've had no cleanup to do on any of these. The colours are absolutely stunning. There is paint still in the lid, but you know, it's not going around the rim. The only one I had a very, very slight problem with was this orange colour, where you can see that there's still a tiny amount of paint around the rim, and I would just wipe that off with a baby wipe. Now, I've gone back to Artex and I said I would just love to see these with some kind of film over the top to stop the paint getting into the lid during transit, and I do believe that that's something that they are now looking at. So hopefully, you know, there'll be some further improvements made to these paints. Let's take the cellophane off this mixed media pad here and have a look and see what this is like. I'm just going to use my Stanley knife just to get the film off here. The colours just match absolutely beautifully with this set here. Wouldn't that make the most gorgeous gift? This is what the pad looks like, and it's got an exposed spine, and it says here, there's a little notice inside: the exposed binding is a special design for easily laying flat during painting. This is not a damaging phenomenon. You can paint on both sides of the paper. The paper is beautifully smooth, really nice and thick. I would say that this is 250 GSM paper, possibly 300 GSM, but I think probably 250. It resembles Bristol cardstock, and you can see as well that these signatures are bound in, so that's what it looks like from the side. Let me just open this up so you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 signatures, and I think there are 4 pages, 8 sides per signature. So 36 sheets in this set, 72 sides, and they measure 130 by 180 millimeters, or in old money 5 inches by 7 inches. So a really nice size set, I think, to play with, or pop in your handbag as well for traveling. Let's have a play with these paints. I'm just going to start off by putting some masking tape all around the edge of my paper, like this. So I'm just going to go around on all 4 sides. I'm going to create a background using this beautiful agate green here. So let's choose this one. Let's open this up. You see, no paint around the rim. I'm going to use the paint, however, that's in the lid. You do need to use a little bit of water with gouache paint. So I've got a jar of water here. I've dipped my brush in and I'm wiping the excess paint away. Here we go. I'll clean the lid up afterwards, and in fact I need a bit more water than that. You'll know when you've got the right consistency. And I'm just going to paint this all over my background, and this will hopefully give me a really nice base to work with. The first coat of this colour down. I'm going to give it a second colour, just because I want mine to be totally opaque. Beautiful, beautiful colour. I have got a bit of buckling on my paper, I have to say, but that might flatten down as the paper dries. That the most gorgeous colour. Now I do think it's probably coming out a bit darker on screen than it is in real life. I'm just going to peel the tape. Now I'm going to attempt to draw myself a design on this piece of paper. I'm using the Conte Paris white pastel pencil, which will hopefully rub out really easily. If I make a mistake, I am just going to draw myself a flower design. Just going around this really loosely, like this. I want a 4-flower petal. You see, that's about right. Then I want to add some leaves. So again, and I'm really pressing lightly on this as well. Where else do I want to add? I want a couple more leaves. Perhaps we can have one here as well, and perhaps one down here. I think the power of 3s always works really well. So that's looking good so far. And then I just want to add some foliage as well. So maybe we can add something like this. Now my drawing skills leave a lot to be desired. So of course I want to draw something that is really, really simple. And perhaps another one here as well, liking that. Perhaps another one here as well. Just really simple shapes, and hopefully this will come to life by the time we add some of those gorgeous gouache colours. And I'm just going to keep going like this, just adding foliage all around my design. So we can have some larger ones here, like this, not overthinking this in any way. And then perhaps one more here like this. So that's looking good so far. I think I need something down here as well. So let's have a look. Let's keep going. You see, these are all having the same kind of shape. You see, I like that. I like how that looks. And doing it in the white, it will hopefully blend into my gouache as well, so that you won't actually see this. And I think just to balance it out, let's just have one here as well. Perhaps we can have a similar shape to this one that we've got, this one that we've got here. Another bloom here. Perhaps we can have some more as well. Let's just pad it out a little bit. And I think that will do fine to start off with. I'm going to start off by using this gorgeous fluorescent pink, this is called. I've got my watercolour brush. I've added a little bit of water to my brush as well. And I'm just going to start off by painting in my flowers. Bit more water. You know with gouache when you've got the right consistency, because if you don't have enough water on your brush, it's really hard to drag the paint across. Whereas when you've got enough water on it, it just applies really, really smoothly. Now, this is one of the least opaque colours, so I'm going to need to add a couple of coats of this. And also, when I finished using this agate green, I just wiped the rest of the paint off the lid as well, so you can see that this is all nice and clean now. And I'm going to do that with all of these as I go along. And then I will just be careful to store these flat, and I think that's really important. These need storing flat, so that the paint doesn't get on the lid again. So I'm just going to continue to paint this. And because gouache is so opaque, I can go straight over my agate green, as you can see. So I'm just going to continue to paint my flower. Let's see what we can come up with. I just love the vibrancy of gouache. I think I prefer gouache to watercolour, if I'm perfectly honest. And for me, I just find it easier to keep turning my paper around. That's my flower after the first coat of paint. So I'm just going to go in now and give it a second coat. And I'm just dragging it down like this just to give it a more even layer this time. This is the most gorgeous colour. It's beautiful. Soft bubblegum pink, isn't it? So I'm just going to continue just going over this until it's a nice opaque finish. So next up, I want to use some of this gorgeous apple green. Again, I am going to work out of the lid. And let's just add some of this to a couple of these leaves. So we'll just paint these in. And I'm going to try not to go over my pink. This is the most pretty colour, absolutely gorgeous. And again, I just find it easier to keep turning my pad as I work. Let me just move my paint box out of the way. So let's see if I can get around this flower without spoiling it. I'm using these brushes here. Let me just show you what these are. This is a new set that I've got from Zen Art Supplies. It's called the Black Tulip Mixed Shapes for Watercolours, Faux Squirrel Synthetic Brushes. I really like these. I just felt that I had just a complete mishmash of not very good paintbrushes. I think these were about £30, so you know they weren't cheap. So I'll let you know how I get on with these. I got these from Amazon. So I am just going to fill in my leaf like this. These colours are just so beautiful, right up my alley, especially at the moment. I am loving my bright and cheerful pastel colours. So trying not to pull up any of that gorgeous colour that's underneath. I don't mind if I can see a bit of it poking through, because I think that adds texture and just a bit of dimension. Pretty. I've got my beautiful green leaves in now, and next up I want to mix some of this grass green, which is from the other set. So I'm just going to put some of this into a mixing palette. So let's add some of this. It doesn't matter which well it goes into. Let's make sure I've got enough. Whoops. So let's just pop the lid back on that, and I'm going to add a tiny amount of black as well, again from the other set. So let me just wipe the green off my palette knife and just add a touch of black, not too much, because black can have a tendency to overpower. So bring in some water and let's mix this. And you see, I didn't need much black at all in there. I could do with some more green. That's too dark. I'm going to try adding some of the apple green just to try and lighten it up a bit. So let me just wipe the paint off so that I don't end up contaminating all of my colours. Let's add this in there and mix this in and see if that will give me the colour I'm after. You see, that's perfect. More of an olivey type green. I like that. That's good. Let's use a smaller brush this time. So I am using this one here, which is the Rigger number 2. Just adding a bit of water to my colour mix, and I am just going to, in fact, that's just feels a bit too thick still. Let's add a bit more water. Here we are. Just make sure I've got that to the right consistency, and then I am just going to add my stem. Oh, you see, I'm not very good at doing this. Doesn't have to be perfect, Nina. Here we are. That's better. It's just practice, isn't it? You know, the only way that I'm going to get better with watercolour and gouache is by practicing and just going for it. That's better. Oh, that's much better. Let's try that again. Yep, that's cool. And I'm just going to keep going. So a really light touch, that's what you need. A really light touch. Now this stem here was really bothering me, so I just blotted out the paint and went over with some more of that agate green, and I've drawn my stem again. I'm hoping by the time the piece is finished that you won't notice that that boo-boo too much. You know, I'm just practicing here. This is not my main skill, I have to say. Now I want to use some of this gorgeous orange. This is called reddish orange, and I'm just going to add some flowers here. Let's see if I can get the consistency of the paint right. Beautiful colour. And I'm just going to paint some of these in as well. Just dipping my paintbrush lightly into the water just to get that smooth application. I don't want my paint too thick. That's a gorgeous colour, and so I'm just going to paint some of these on as well. I love the vibrancy of gouache. It is a learning curve though, but I'm determined to get better at this. Beautiful. And I'm just going to do the others. So these 4 here in the same way. I'm really happy with how this is coming together. Next I want to add some of the Naples yellow, and I'm going to use this really tiny brush here. This is a De La Rowney spotter brush, and I just thought that this would be perfect just so that I don't go completely overboard with my flowers. So what I'm going to do is just add some flowers like this. Oh, that's gorgeous. I love that. And so I'm going to do the same just with the remaining 2 here. And I just think these colours just work so beautifully together. This is a gorgeous colour palette, in my opinion. Anyway, what do you think? But that's what it's looking like so far. Isn't that pretty? Let's see if we can add some details to these leaves here using this darker green that we used for the stems. Oh, don't screw this up, Nina. Just going to need it to be a bit darker. There we have it. And I'm going to do the same on the other 2 leaves as well. Does not have to be perfect. Just remind yourself of that. And the same on this one here, just to make it look more interesting. We just need some detail in the centre of the flower, and I'm going to use this colour called Celeste. This is just beautiful. So let me just add a bit of water to my paintbrush, and I'm just going to add a circle in the centre, or attempt to anyway. Just trying to use as many of these beautiful pretty colours as I can in my piece. Let me just try and get this to run smoothly. Here we are. And then I'll let that dry as well, and we can come in with a few more details. And let's just add a few dots to the centre of the flower as well. I'm adding some of this beautiful green, the apple green. Just add a few of these just for a little bit of interest. Pretty pretty. I think that will do fine. I just want to add a bit more of the Naples yellow just to the bottom of the orange flowers as well. Not overthinking this in any way. Just a few lines here and there. That colour is really pretty on that beautiful orange. And I'll do that on these. And just look at the difference. It just completely brings them to life, doesn't it? I just want to add a little bit of this darker yellow as well. This is lemon yellow, just on the tips of these flowers here, just to add a bit more interest to these. You know, that is enough. And if I hold it up, I don't know whether you can see the difference. Isn't that pretty? So I'm just going to do this all over as well. Just a bit in the centre of these ones. And finally, back in with the Naples yellow, just to add a little bit of detail just to this flower here. Not too much, just a touch. Decided to add another sprig of these yellow flowers here, just because it felt a bit unbalanced, and I'm wondering whether I'm brave enough to do a butterfly. I think what I'm going to do is draw it in first. So let's draw the body of our butterfly, antenna, and then let's see if we can just add some wings. Don't screw this up, Nina. That's not too bad, is it? So I'm just going to paint this in as well. I'm just going to do my butterfly in some of the lovely, what's this called, Celeste, and the Naples yellow, I think. I don't want to introduce any more colours, so I'm just going to paint this in. And I think that's all this piece needs. Oh, I had so much fun doing this. I find these paints really therapeutic to use. I just absolutely love the look of them. And then we'll add some of the yellow as well. Let's bring my yellow over here. And I think that's a really pretty combination colour-wise. I just don't get the drip off my ferrule. And then I'm going to go over the body of the butterfly with black once this has dried. And let's just add the body of the butterfly, just using a tiny amount of black. See if I can do this without screwing it up. Just a really thin amount at the bottom. Let's see if I can do this. There we are. I think that's fine. And just to make my butterfly just a tad more whimsical, I'm coming in with some of the same colour I used for the background. So this is the agate green. And I am just going to add just a few dots. And I'm calling this done. I love it. I'm really happy with that. I'm leaving my video here for today. I thoroughly enjoyed using these colours. I think they're vibrant, they're just absolutely beautiful, and I could not be more proud of this piece here. This set here is by far my favourite. The colours just really appeal to me. All of the pigment details are both on the lid and on the swatch card as well. And I don't know whether you can see that I have cleaned up my paints as well. I have used up the paint that was on the rim, and then I just used a paintbrush like this and just removed any of the extra paint, put it back into the jar as well, so nothing has gone to waste. So that's that set there. And of course, let me remind you of the other set here as well. I'll leave details of where you can purchase these from in the description box below. And of course, let me remind you of the sunflower piece I did. I'll leave the link to the video showing how I made this in the description box as well. So if you've enjoyed my video today, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, but most importantly, thanks for watching. Take care everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.